Saxon Advanced Mathematics, Lesson 51. We're going to talk about common and natural logarithms. We're going to be using calculators in this lesson. So grab your smartphone with your scientific calculator on it. Again, if you have a graphing calculator, and by that I mean the kind that has the big square window on it where you can get pictures, graphing, you can use those, but they're not necessary. We're not going to use the graphing capabilities. We're only going to use the scientific calculator. All right, you will see 4 buttons on your calculator, and I want to explain how we use them. Look for these 4. They should be on your front screen, not the second set of buttons. But these are the 4 buttons that pertain to logarithms and exponents. We have natural logs and we have common logs. The common log means that it's a base of 10, all right? It's commonly used in the old days when slide rules were the way that we did complex calculations. So base 10 was what was used in the old days. This is a base called the natural log, and we abbreviate it as E, and it is 2.718 and so on. It's approximately equal to that. This is a very important base for doing calculations in calculus, science, engineering, business. It reflects exponential growth in nature, all right? So these 2 buttons are on a base of E, which we call the natural log. This I think of as a cursive L, LN natural log. And then these are the buttons that reflect base 10, okay? Now, these 2 buttons are used when you have the exponent and you want to create the number, right? So you plug in the exponent here and the calculator will give you the number. These are the buttons we use when we have the number and we want to know what's the exponent that you put on either 10 or the natural log of E. What's the exponent, okay? So in this one, we have the exponent, we want the number. To use these buttons is when we have the number and we want the exponent. We're gonna be using these buttons today, okay? So they work exactly the same. This one's just a base of E, this one's a base of 10. I worked these through on my calculator. I wish I had a way to show you. I could borrow my daughter's phone. I'll try to do that in the future so I can show you. 51.1, it says, write 2.4 as a power with a base of A, 10, or B, E, the natural log, okay? So the way that you would do this, we have the number, we want the exponent. So what you would do here is you would enter 24, and then you would hit the button that says log 10, and then equals, and then that should give you, when you round it, it is 0.38. So this is the exponent, right? We started with the number, it was 2.4. Okay, we started with the number, we want the exponent, so this is the exponent. It goes on the base of 10, so our answer is actually 10. Oh, I'm not writing this correctly. Let me start over. It's 0.38. So this is 10 to the 0.38. Okay, this is what the calculator told us, and then we put it back on the 10. We do the same thing with this one. We enter 2.4, and then we hit this time the natural log button, and then equals, and that will give us a value of 0.88. So for our answer, we write it as E to the 0.88. So these are the 2 answers to those. Make sure that you understand how to use it. We're using these 2 buttons, this for the common, this for the natural log. And then when we get our answer, that represents the exponent. So then we write it on the base, all right? 51.2. A, log of 2.4, and B, natural log of 2.4. Now, this is really the very same question. We already did these, and we know that this time we can write the answer in a different format, right? We already know that if the number is 2.4 and you want to find the exponent that goes on there, the log, it is 0.38. But this time we don't need to show it as an exponent. We're just asked to find the log of 2.4. So that is the value. That's the way we show it. And this one was 0.88. We don't have to write it on the power this time because it just asked us for the log and the natural log. Okay, so this is the exponent only. Whereas here, we were asked to write 2.4 as a power. Second, is my book crooked? I bet it is. Yes, quite. Here we were asked to write it as a power, so this is the presentation we used, okay? So the calculation is the same. We're just using a different presentation, which is cool. We want to be smart. We are smart. 51.3. Write 24,000 as a power with a base of 10. Okay, so again, we're going to use this one. We have the number, we want the exponent. So we enter 24,000, these are my buttons, and then we hit log 10, and what you will get out is 4.38. And we're supposed to write this as a power of 10, so we would write 10 to the 4.38. That's the correct answer. Okay, these are all correct. This is correct. Now, example 51.4, we're doing the same thing, except we want to write it as a power of E. So we enter 24,000, and then we hit, instead of log 10, we hit the natural log button, and that will give us an answer of rounded 10.9. And so again, we were supposed to be writing as a power, so we would write E to the 10.09. That would be our answer. Okay? And then the last one, John gives us two parts. He is just messing with me. A, write 0.0024 as A, 10 raised to a power. And you guessed it, B is E raised to a power. So again, we're using those same buttons. We're using these because in all of these, we have the number and we want the exponent or the log. I should write that there so that we know it's the same thing. Okay, so same combinations of buttons. We'll enter 0.0024, and then we will hit, this is 10 raised to a power, so that means we need the log 10 button. And the answer that we'll get can be rounded to minus 2.62. We're rounding to 2 decimal places in all of these. So that's our answer. That's raised to a power. And then this one, we'll just use the other button. So it's 0.0024. We enter that, and then we hit the natural log button. And then we take that answer and we write it on E, and that's E to the minus 6.03. Yay. Okay? The important thing is that in all of these problems, we use these two same buttons for all of the calculations. The only difference is how we presented that solution. Sometimes we showed it as a power with as an exponent on a base, and other times the exponent or log was the answer itself. So we just have to read the questions carefully, but using the buttons is not the hard part. All right? That's all there is to lesson 51. It is a great calculator lesson. If you have any questions about, these are the 4 buttons, right? And these are their purposes. Ask me and I'll help you get that cleared up. Yay, lesson 51. We're done. Goodbye.